Greetings, family. Welcome to Live with Chatufa. Welcome to the platform of freedom. We are looking at issues that are happening in the nation as we are always anticipating the freedom of the Zimbabwean people, praying for the nation, for freedom to be delivered to the nation of Zimbabwe. A lot of things that are happening indeed. And I can tell you that from the look of things, our journey is about to end. Our journey to freedom is very, very near now because what we are seeing happening right inside ZANU-PF is quite a lot that is signifying that indeed the Lord is about to deliver Zimbabwe into our hands. Emmerson Mnangagwa's government hits back at the US for speaking out on stolen elections. You know, a vindictive government, ZANU-PF that it is, they never want to be corrected. They never want to be told the truth. They would always want to be pointing fingers and fighting all the time, especially when they are told what they are doing wrong. Mnangagwa and his government, they know that they are an illegal government. Mnangagwa and the ZANU-PF, they know what they did in 2023 on that very election. That was a sham. It was not only the US that is talking about this. Otherwise, the whole world spoke, in unison against what happened in August 2023. So now that the US ambassador to Zimbabwe, who has spoken out to the journalists and indicated that the United States is worried about the elections that took place in August and they still need to find out exactly what happened. That is rattled ZANU-PF, and they have come out guns blazing on here. We saw people like Nick Mangwana coming out attacking, George Charamba coming out attacking, and of course the whole breed of Arakashi. They came out fighting so hard, calling the United States, imperialists, calling them quite a lot of other names. As always, as we know, ZANU-PF, they never want to take responsibility for their actions. And that is a very, very sad thing. You know, there is no how that in life we can always be correct. The idea of ZANU-PF of thinking that they are always right is what is costing them this much. Because a government must also be available to listen to the people, to also hear what the people have to say. Remember, as a government, you are human beings. You are not supernatural. You are just human beings, and you are prone to making mistakes. And when you make mistakes, then you have other people around you who are willing to come and share and discuss and make you see the other side of things that you may not be seeing. But unfortunately, this is what is not happening with ZANU-PF. They never listen to anyone, just like Mnangagwa himself, as the leader of ZANU-PF. We know that he does not even listen to anyone, even right inside ZANU-PF. And this is a big problem. It's a big problem when a leader is that arrogant, because the leader will just drive the rest of the group into the ditch. That is the problem. While they are looking at him making gross errors and gross mistakes, they are not able to speak to him and tell him and say, no, you know what? We are going in the wrong direction. Can't we do things in a different manner? To Mnangagwa, it is more of an insult when anybody speaks against any move that he makes. So that exactly is the attitude of ZANU-PF, which is what will cause ZANU-PF not to survive what they are facing this time around. So after the US spoke, they've indicated that quite a lot needed to be addressed when it comes to issues of human rights. I remember the ambassador also indicating that the United States is ready to assist Zimbabwe in terms of their debt, their international debt. But the first thing that has to happen is Emmerson Mnangagwa and his government must tick the correct boxes in terms of human rights, in terms of electoral laws, making sure that the electoral play field is even, and making sure that there are no abuses of human rights, arrests, abductions, and things like that. But of course, we know that is the survival of ZANU-PF. If you take that from ZANU-PF, you have taken power from ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF has always survived on, cohesion. They've always survived on instilling fear in the masses of Zimbabwe, as well as, attacking people if they go against them. And that's their culture. That is what they've seen as a method that could keep them in power. But unfortunately, it's becoming more and more unpopular, and it's becoming more and more of a setback when it comes to their very existence. Because the time that we have entered now, we are in a time that the world is changing. and we are seeing more and more younger people coming into politics and even into offices of responsibility. Right now, we are talking about African Union, where we are seeing quite a lot of young people who are coming in, throwing in their names into the ring for the African Union top positions, and that on its own is a shift politically in Africa and also the whole world. And we are going to be beginning to see that these other young people that will come in are not going to be behaving like the old Madalas who have always been there. You will find that these people that are coming in are going to change the political environment that we've always been experiencing. Everything, bilateral elections are not going to be the same again. And some of these old men's clubs that have existed, they are not going to survive once they are diluted by the upcoming younger people. And there's no how that anyone can run away from the fact that young people are now coming in to play the roles now, because the old are old and the old are going out. We've seen the president of America. He tried by all means to want to run again. Unfortunately, nature will not allow you. You can try everything that you can. He rigged elections in the last elections, and he thought maybe this time he could do it. But of course, there is something that you can't rig, which is nature, which is old age or death or sickness. These are things that nobody can ever rig. Even Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF, they forget that there are these other issues that you can never rig. You can't change them. They remain what they are. And Mnangagwa being 87, even much older than Joe Biden, but Joe Biden today is pulled out of the election and the rest, because he does see that he was now becoming more like an embarrassment. And that's the same way that we are hearing Mnangagwa speaking. Mnangagwa is just embarrassing Zimbabwe because of his old age. Some of these decisions that you see Mnangagwa making today, it is because of old age. The man is now thinking like a small child now. He's although he might want to look so powerful and the like, but still in his mind is old. The brain cells, they become old. They wear out with age, and that is a fact. That is a fact, and the body will begin to be shutting down. And that is the truth and the reality on the ground. And Mnangagwa must save himself from that. So this whole idea of recruiting these young people like the Jennifer Musweres who are coming to attack the United States of America is not going to be working at the end of the day, because these are powerful countries. Even if you might want to say, you have tried to shoot Donald Trump, you are also equally like that, but it is not working at the end of the day. It's not working because you are poor and the guys are rich. They control everything that is happening. So I just want us to listen to the video where Muswere is coming to attack the United States of America, also indicating some of these issues that are happening in America.
I want to appeal to the conscience of the U.S. ambassador to reflect on the historical aspects related to the election processes that have taken place in the United States, which also includes the Al Gore President George W. Bush election, the controversy and chaos involved in the election processes between President Trump and President Biden in the last term, where for the first time we learned that Americans defined what they term domestic terrorism and vote rigging claims by many candidates. And that recently we've witnessed American presidential candidates being dragged to court, yet we have elections in 2024, and that assassination attempts on presidential candidates. So I believe our appeal to the conscience of the U.S. ambassador will perhaps bring light to the reality and reflection that Zimbabwe's democracy is matured so fast that we are a sovereign nation, and that in Zimbabwe we do not drag candidates, presidential candidates and any candidates to court.
Just imagine the hypocrisy of these people. It's so sickening. It's sickening, I tell you, family. Just imagine Because what we are talking about is didn't we see the Kasukwere fights in the court where they were blocking Kasukwere from contesting the election? Why was Kasukwere in court? Why was Nelson Chamisa being dragged to court by Chabang and the like? Wasn't it that they wanted to just frustrate him? And now he comes out to the public and wants to become a saint here. You know, I'm not even in the mood. I'm not even in the mood to talk about this because you know what? It's so embarrassing how these ZANU-PF people think. You know, it's like there's something that happens when once you join ZANU-PF. I think you start to be out of touch with the reality. We have seen these things happening.
And in Zimbabwe, we do not assassinate or attempt to assassinate presidential candidates.
Dr. Mswere noted.
So he wants to tell us that they never attempted to assassinate anyone. Yet we have seen, don't talk about assassinating, you have murdered people. We still are talking about Bishop Masaya. We saw the convoy of the chain champion Nelson Chamisa being shot at. And today you want to come out here and tell us that you don't assassinate or attempt to assassinate presidential candidates. Like, really? You know, this is just sickening and sad. You know, these people are out of touch with the reality, and this is what they are and who they are. And that's what makes our country a very difficult place, because we just have some politicians that are very dishonest and people that run away from the truth, who want to hide behind a finger. But it's not going to be working at the end of the day. So this is what it is. Mnangagwa government hitting back on the US is not going to solve the problems of Zimbabwe. What Zimbabwe is going through right now needs people that look at reality on the ground and be sincere and solve these problems without being political, without being partisan, without being partial. It needs all Zimbabweans to come together and say, this is our country. We need to work for our country. And then our country can begin to work. Simple. But we don't have that kind of heart in ZANU-PF. We have an evil heart in ZANU-PF, a greedy heart in ZANU-PF. Would think that the country belongs to themselves and not to anyone else. So this is what it is. Very sad development that we are seeing happening in the country. Thank you so much, family, for joining me on this show. We want to hear what you think. Also, put a comment and also subscribe to the channel, like and share. We'll meet again in the upcoming shows. You remain blessed.